At family dinner, my stepmom said, "Families share money." That night, my bank flagged unauthorized access to my account. I was done being polite. 27F, just returned from a mediated meeting where I watched my stepmother sign legal documents promising to never access my finances again.
She cried.
My father looked at the floor. I felt nothing but relief. This is the story of how my stepmother spent 2 years attempting to steal my military income, and how I stopped her without ever raising my voice. The beginning. My mother died when I was 19. Breast cancer. Fast and brutal. 6 months from diagnosis to funeral. Dad, 52M, was devastated. They'd been married 23 years. I was in my second year at community college, working part-time, living at home, trying to figure out my life while grieving my mom. Dad grieved differently. He shut down.
Stopped talking. Stopped eating.
Just went through the motions.
I was worried about him.
6 months after Mom died, he met Cheryl, 48F, at a grief support group. She was a widow, lost her husband 2 years prior, had 2 adult sons who were successful and independent. They started dating. I was cautiously supportive. Dad needed companionship. Mom would have wanted him to be happy. I could handle this. Cheryl was nice. At first, she brought casseroles, asked about my day, complimented Mom's decorating choices in the house. "Your mother had beautiful taste," she'd say. I wouldn't change a thing. Except she did change things. Slowly. A new throw pillow here. Different curtains there. Mom's photos moved from the mantel to a bookshelf. "Just freshening up," she'd explain. "Your father needs to move forward." They got engaged 8 months after meeting. Married 10 months after Mom's death. I smiled at the wedding. Hugged Cheryl. Told Dad I was happy for him. I wasn't sure if I was lying. Joining the military. 2 months after their wedding, I enlisted in the Air Force. I needed structure. Purpose. A way to afford college that didn't involve more student loans. Dad was supportive. Cheryl had opinions. The military? That's so dangerous. I'm going into communications. It's a desk job. But you'll be so far away from family. That's kind of the point of serving, I said. She didn't like that answer. Basic training was hard but clarifying. I was good at following orders. Good at the structure. Good at the work. I graduated. Got stationed in Colorado. Started my job in communications. Visited home every few months. Called Dad weekly. Life was good. The comments began. Year 1 in the military, the comments started. Small things. Easy to dismiss. During a visit home, Cheryl asked about my pay. "How much does the military pay you?" "Enough to live on and save." "But specifically?" "I'm just curious." "About $38,000 with housing allowance." "That's good for someone your age." "Are you saving any of it?" "Some." "You should be saving more. Young people don't understand the importance of saving." She started sending me articles about military benefits, investment strategies, retirement planning. "Just want to make sure you're making smart decisions," she'd text. It felt motherly. Caring even. I didn't see it as the beginning of something else. The planning. Year 2, Cheryl's interest in my finances intensified. "Have you thought about buying a house?"
Not yet.
"I'm saving for college, once I'm out." "You should buy investment property. Build equity while you're young." "I'm only 22.
Exactly. Prime time to invest."
"You know, your father and I have been thinking about buying a rental property. We could help you manage it." "I don't want a rental property. You're young. You don't understand these opportunities yet." During another visit, "Have you set up a will?" "You're in the military. You should have everything in order." "I have a basic will through the military." "Who's your beneficiary?" "Dad." "What about me?" I looked at her. "What about you?" "I'm your stepmother. I'm family. If something happened to you, shouldn't I be considered?" "My dad is my beneficiary. If something happens to me, he gets everything." "Which means you get everything since you're married to him." "It's different if I'm specifically listed."
No.
First time I'd said no directly to her. She didn't like it. The family dinner. Last Thanksgiving, I flew home for 4 days. Family dinner. Me, Dad, Cheryl, her two sons, Brian 31M and Scott 29M, and their wives. Cheryl cooked. Everything was perfect. Too perfect. Over dessert, she brought up money. Ava, your father and I have been talking. You're doing so well in the military. Making good money. Living on base. Low expenses. You must be saving a lot. I'm saving what I can. We think you should contribute to the household. I set down my fork. What? Well, this is still your home. Your room is still here. You visit regularly. And family helps family. I don't live here. I'm stationed in Colorado. But you benefit from this household. Your father and I maintain your room.
Keep your things.
You should contribute. I pay for my own housing on base. This is still your family home. Families share money. That's how it works. I looked at Dad. He was cutting his pie very carefully, not making eye contact.
Dad.
Your stepmother has a point. You're doing well financially. We could use some help with the mortgage. The mortgage on the house you and Mom paid off. Silence. The house is paid off, I repeated. Mom made sure of it before she died. So you could be secure. We refinanced, Cheryl said smoothly. Took out equity to renovate. That costs money. Renovations I didn't ask for on a house I don't live in. It's still your family home.
No.
It's your house. I live in Colorado. Cheryl's smile tightened. Family shares resources. That's what your mother would have wanted. Using my dead mother to manipulate me was a new low. I stood up. I need to go. Ava, Dad started. I'm staying at a hotel tonight. I left. Cheryl called after me. We're just trying to help you understand adult responsibilities. I drove to a Holiday Inn and sat in the parking lot for an hour. Something was very wrong. The bank alert. That night, 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. Alert. Unusual login attempt to your account from unrecognized device in Maryland. I was in Maryland, but I wasn't trying to log into my bank account from a different device. My laptop was with me. My phone was in my hand. Someone else was trying to access my account. I immediately changed my password. Set up two-factor authentication. Called the bank's fraud line. We show 3 attempted logins in the past hour from a Maryland IP address, the representative said. All failed because of incorrect security answers. Someone tried to answer my security questions?
Yes.
They got the answers wrong. That's why the account locked and alerted you. My security questions were things only I would know. Mom's maiden name, my first pet, my elementary school. Except Dad would know all of those things. And Dad would have told Cheryl. Can you tell me what answers they entered? I can tell you the questions they attempted. Mother's maiden name, childhood best friend's name, and city where you were born. Standard questions. Things Dad definitely knew. What answers did they try? I can't share specific failed attempts, but I can tell you all 3 were incorrect. Because Cheryl was guessing. She knew the questions because they're standard. But she didn't know the answers because I'd changed them after joining the military to things Dad wouldn't know. Please freeze my account. I want to file a fraud report. I'll start that process. Do you know who might have attempted this?
Yes.
My stepmother. The morning after. I didn't sleep. At 7 a.m., I called Dad. Did you give Cheryl my banking information?
What? No.
Good morning to you too. Dad, someone tried to log into my bank account last night. From Maryland. 3 attempts. Wrong security answers. Was it you? Why would I try to access your account? Was it Cheryl? Silence. Dad. I don't know what you're talking about. Where were you and Cheryl last night around midnight? Home. In bed. Why? Was Cheryl on her computer? I was asleep, Ava. I don't monitor your stepmother's computer usage. That's not a no. This is ridiculous. Why would Cheryl try to access your account? Why would she tell me at dinner that families share money and I should contribute to a mortgage on a house that was paid off? We've been going through some financial difficulty. Not my problem. Ava, don't be selfish.
We're family.
Did you refinance the house? That's between Cheryl and me. Did you take out a second mortgage on the house Mom worked her entire life to pay off? Longer silence. We needed some liquidity. How much? That's not your concern. Dad, how much did you borrow against Mom's house? $150,000. I felt like I'd been punched. For what? Renovations. Cheryl's sons needed help with business investments. Life happens, Ava. Adults understand this. You gave Cheryl's sons money from Mom's house? They're family now. They're not my family. And my military income isn't going to pay for their bad investments. No one said it was. Cheryl tried to access my bank account last night. Same night she told me families share money. You don't think those things are connected? You're being paranoid. I'm being observant. And I'm done with this conversation. I hung up. The investigation. I had 4 days left of leave. I spent them investigating. First, I went to the bank in person. Spoke to the fraud department. Got copies of all the login attempts. IP addresses. Timestamps. All from Dad and Cheryl's home address. Next, I checked my credit report. 2 hard inquiries I didn't authorize. One from 3 months ago. One from 6 weeks ago. Both for large personal loans using my name and social security number. Both denied because I have good credit and security freezes in place. Military financial training had taught me that. But someone had tried. Someone with my social security number. I filed police reports for identity theft. Got case numbers. Documented everything. Then I called Dad from a number he wouldn't recognize. He answered thinking it was a potential client. He's a real estate agent. I need to speak with Cheryl Chen about a financial matter. This is her husband. Can I ask what this is regarding? A loan application in her name. I'll have her call you back. He didn't realize it was me until I texted. Interesting that you're fielding calls about Cheryl's loan applications. He called immediately. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why is Cheryl applying for loans? That's her business. Is she using my information as collateral? I don't know what you're talking about. Dad, someone tried to take out loans using my name and social security number.
Twice.
I have proof. I'm filing charges. You'd file charges against your own family? Against whoever committed identity theft. If that's family, so be it. I hung up the documents. I extended my leave by 3 days. Told my commander I had a family emergency. He approved it immediately. Take what you need, Sergeant. Family stuff is important. I rented a storage unit. Drove to Dad and Cheryl's house while they were at work. I still had a key. I let myself in and went to Cheryl's home office. I wasn't looking to steal. I was looking for evidence. I found it in a filing cabinet labeled Financial Planning. Inside, a folder with my name on it. Inside that folder, copies of my military LES leave and earnings statement from the past 6 months, printouts of my social media posts where I'd mentioned savings goals, a handwritten plan titled Ava's Contribution to Household. The plan detailed how much I should contribute monthly, $800, what it would be used for, mortgage payment, utilities, family investment fund, and how it would be structured as a loan that could be forgiven for family loyalty. There was a note in Cheryl's handwriting. Ava needs to understand family obligation. Start with guilt, move to expectation, enforce through necessity. James agrees this is reasonable given our financial situation.
James.
My father. He knew. He agreed. He was part of this. I photographed every page, every document, every note. Then I locked the filing cabinet and left. The lawyer. I used 3 of my extended leave days to consult with a military legal assistance attorney on base. I brought everything. Bank alerts, credit reports, photos of Cheryl's documents, police reports. The attorney, Captain Morrison, was in her 40s. Former JAG. No nonsense. She reviewed everything in silence. This is attempted financial exploitation, she said finally. Possibly elder abuse statutes would apply if your father is vulnerable, but given he's involved, this is just fraud. What can I do? Several things. First, you file a formal identity theft affidavit with the FTC. Second, You freeze your credit with all 3 bureaus. Looks like you've done that. Third, you send a cease and desist letter to both of them. Fourth, you remove your father as your beneficiary and emergency contact from all military documents. He's my dad. He's complicit in attempting to steal from you. He doesn't get to be your safety net while cutting the rope. She was right. What about criminal charges? You could pursue them. The attempted account access alone is computer fraud. The loan applications are identity theft. But that's your father. And military prosecutors will ask if you want to proceed knowing he could face charges too. I thought about it. I want them to stop. I want legal protection. But I don't want Dad to go to jail. Then we go with civil remedies. Restraining orders if necessary. Legal documents barring them from accessing your finances. A formal mediation if they're willing. And if they're not willing, then we escalate. But let's start with establishing boundaries. Legally. In writing. Notarized and filed with the court. I agreed. The cease and desist. Captain Morrison drafted a letter. It was beautiful in its directness. To James Chun and Cheryl Chun. This letter serves as formal notice that any attempts to access, influence, or control the financial accounts of Ava Chun are unauthorized and unwelcome. Documented evidence shows. Attempted unauthorized access to bank account on date, unauthorized credit inquiries on dates, possession of protected financial documents, LES, without authorization written plans to coerce financial contributions. You are hereby directed to cease all attempts to access or inquire about Ava Chen's finances, delete or destroy any financial documents related to Ava Chen, refrain from requesting, suggesting, or demanding financial contributions, cease all contact regarding financial matters. Failure to comply will result in filing of criminal identity theft charges, restraining orders, notification to military authorities, notification to James Chen's real estate licensing board. This is your only warning. Signatures and legal stamps. I had it delivered by certified mail. Required signature. Dad signed for it. The response. 2 days later, Dad called. What the hell is this? Legal protection. You sent us a cease and desist letter? Your own family? My family tried to steal from me. We weren't stealing. We were trying to help you understand family obligation. By accessing my bank account without permission? Cheryl was just checking to make sure you were saving properly. That's not her business or her right. She's trying to help you plan for the future. With a written plan about how to manipulate me into giving you money? Silence. You found that. I found all of it. The documents. The notes. The plan to guilt me and then enforce through necessity. I found everything. You broke into our house. I used my key to enter my family home. And I took photos of evidence of crimes being committed against me. This is insane. Cheryl just wants what's best for you. Cheryl wants my money. There's a difference. She's your stepmother. She's a stranger who married you 14 months after Mom died and immediately started trying to access my finances. That's not a stepmother. That's a predator. Don't talk about her like that. Then tell me the truth, Dad. Did you give her my social security number? Silence. Did you help her try to take out loans in my name? More silence. Did you know she was planning to manipulate me into paying your mortgage? We're in a difficult situation. That's not my situation. I didn't refinance the house. I didn't give Cheryl's sons money. I didn't create your problems. And I'm not solving them. You're being selfish. I'm being smart. There's a difference. And Dad, you're not my beneficiary anymore. Or my emergency contact. As of today, you have no access to any part of my life. Ava. You chose Cheryl over me. You chose her financial schemes over your daughter. You chose enabling her over protecting me. So now you get nothing. I hung up, changed all my military paperwork that night. The escalation. Cheryl didn't take the cease and desist well. She started a whisper campaign. Called extended family. Told them I was being difficult. That I'd turned against the family. My aunt called. What's going on? Cheryl says you're accusing her of terrible things. Cheryl tried to access my bank account and apply for loans in my name. That can't be true. I have police reports and bank records. Would you like copies? Silence. I thought not. Aunt Rachel, I love you. But I'm not discussing this. If Cheryl wants to tell her version, that's her choice. I have the documented version. I sent copies of the evidence to 3 family members I trusted. My aunt, my godfather, my cousin who's a CPA. The whisper campaign died quickly. Then Cheryl tried a different approach. She showed up at my base.
Security called me.
Ma'am, there's a Cheryl Chin here who says she's your stepmother. She doesn't have visitor clearance. Don't let her on base. She's insisting it's an emergency. It's not. She's attempting to harass me. I have a cease and desist order against her. If she doesn't leave, call the police. Copy that. They escorted her off base property. She called Dad, crying. He called me, angry. You had Cheryl removed from your base? She showed up without clearance or permission. After I legally notified her to stop contacting me. Yes, I had her removed. She just wanted to talk. She's had 2 years to talk. She spent those 2 years planning to steal from me instead. We're done talking. The mediation. Captain Morrison suggested mediation. If they agree to formal terms in front of a mediator, it's legally binding. Easier to enforce than just the cease and desist. Will they agree? They will if you offer to not file criminal charges. We sent the offer. Dad and Cheryl agreed. The mediation was scheduled for a Wednesday at 2 p.m. at a legal office in Maryland. I flew in that morning, wore my service uniform, brought Captain Morrison and another witness. Dad and Cheryl brought a lawyer they'd clearly hired that week. He looked uncomfortable. The mediator was a retired judge. Woman in her 60s. No nonsense. We're here to resolve financial access issues between Ava Chun and James and Cheryl Chun. Ava, please present your case. I laid out everything. Timeline of comments. Bank alerts. Credit inquiries. Photos of documents. Police reports. I spoke calmly. Never raised my voice. Just facts. The mediator looked at Dad and Cheryl. Do you dispute any of this? Their lawyer whispered to them. No, Dad finally said. We don't dispute the facts. But the context. Context doesn't change unauthorized access, the mediator said. Ms. Chun, what are you seeking? Formal acknowledgement that they have no right to access my finances. Agreement to cease all attempts to do so. Agreement to not discuss my finances with anyone. Removal of their names from any situation where they might gain access to my information. And an apology. Cheryl's face went red. We're not apologizing. Her lawyer put his hand on her arm. The mediator looked at them. You're facing potential criminal charges for identity theft and computer fraud. Ms. Cheon is offering to accept a civil resolution. I'd take the deal. They whispered with their lawyer for 15 minutes. Finally, Dad spoke. We agree to the terms. All of them? The mediator asked. All of them. Including the apology? Dad looked at me. Really looked at me for the first time that day. I'm sorry, Ava. I should have protected you better. I should have seen what was happening. I should have chosen you. It was the most honest thing he'd said in 2 years. Cheryl said nothing. Mrs. Chun, the mediator prompted. I apologize for any misunderstanding, Cheryl said stiffly. That's not an apology, I said. That's deflection. The mediator nodded. Apologize for the specific actions, or there's no deal. Cheryl's jaw tightened. I apologize for attempting to access your account and for creating financial plans involving you without your permission. It was said through gritted teeth. But it was said. Acceptable, I said. We signed papers. Notarized. Filed with the court. Any attempt to access my finances would now be immediate grounds for criminal charges and contempt of court. The aftermath. I flew back to Colorado that night. Sat in my small base apartment. Ate leftover Chinese food. Watched bad TV. My phone was silent. No calls from Dad. No texts from Cheryl. No family drama. Just quiet. I'd won. But it didn't feel like winning. It felt like loss. Different kind of loss than when Mom died. But loss nonetheless. The father I thought I had, the one who protected me, who chose me, who valued me, had never existed. Or maybe he had, but he died when Mom died, and Cheryl filled the space with a different person. Either way, I'd lost him. But I'd saved myself. 6 months later. It's been 6 months since the mediation. Dad and Cheryl have honored the agreement. No contact about finances. No access attempts. Dad calls occasionally. Surface-level conversations. How's work? Good. Weather okay there? Fine. Okay. Just checking in. That's it. Nothing deeper. He doesn't ask to visit. Doesn't invite me home. Doesn't mention Cheryl. I'm okay with that. I've built a life that doesn't include them. Changed my beneficiary to a scholarship fund for military kids who've lost parents. Changed my emergency contact to my best friend from basic training. Bought a small condo off base. My own place. My own equity. No one else's name on it. Started therapy to process everything.
Loss.
Betrayal.
Grief.
The therapist asked what I learned. That financial abuse doesn't look like stealing. It looks like concern, planning, family obligation, until you see the documents that prove otherwise. What else? That silence isn't the same as agreement. My dad's silence while Cheryl planned all this? That was agreement. He enabled it by not stopping it. And now I know that family doesn't require access. Love doesn't demand sacrifice of self. And boundaries, quiet, firm, enforced, are the deepest form of self-care. The lesson. If someone in your family says families share money, watch your accounts. If someone in your family pushes too hard about your finances, document everything. If someone tries to access your accounts without permission, that's not concern. That's theft. And if your parent enables it through silence, that's complicity. I learned that the hard way. But I learned, and I protected myself. Not with drama. Not with shouting. Not with cutting them off spectacularly. With documentation. Legal protection. Boundaries. The boring, methodical, effective way. Final update. I got promoted to staff sergeant last week. Dad sent a congratulations text.
Short.
Polite. I replied, thank you. That was the whole exchange. Cheryl sent nothing. As required by our legal agreement, she doesn't contact me at all. I'm okay with this new normal. A relationship that exists at a distance. Polite. Bounded. Protected. Not what I wanted when Mom died. But better than what I had when Cheryl was trying to steal from me. For everyone asking, do you think you'll ever forgive them? I'm not carrying around anger. But forgiveness doesn't mean allowing access. They showed me who they are. I believe them. What happened with the $150,000 they borrowed? Not my problem. They refinanced Mom's house. They deal with the consequences. Do you regret handling it legally instead of just cutting them off?
No.
Legal documentation protects me. Emotions don't. I needed proof and boundaries, not just distance. Would you recommend military service for people trying to escape family? Not as an escape, but as a path. The military gave me structure, income, benefits, and most importantly, physical and financial distance that made protecting myself possible. How's your relationship with your dad now? Cordial.
Distant.
Surface level. He made his choice. I made mine. We coexist politely from 1,500 miles apart. At family dinner, my stepmom said families share money. That night, my bank flagged unauthorized access to my account. I was done being polite. But I didn't explode. Didn't yell. Didn't cut them off dramatically. I documented. Protected. Established legal boundaries. And won quietly. The way you win against people who manipulate through politeness is with calm, methodical, documented action. Not drama. Strategy. Not emotion. Evidence. Not cutting them off. Cutting them out. From my accounts. My decisions. My life. Exactly where they belong. On the outside. Where they can't hurt me anymore.